to leverage your existing orders, your existing customers, you have these phases. First, you need to transform your unknown strangers to known customers. Then you need to get those known customers to actually make use of the product. And you need to know if they are using it correctly and if they are happy about it, because without consumption or without usage of the product, there's no return. And there's no amplification, there's no network effect, right? After that, you have to get those customers from using the product to advocating about the product. So basically, you need to get this, to close this feedback loop so that you can include the customer feedback and do these technological advancements, or in order to level up the customer experience that you're providing. Once you have the network effect, then you're done, right? So you need to make sure that the next buying cycle, at the next buying cycle, you're there. Exactly what something that this brand in particular never done. Hello, Dennis, and welcome to a new episode of the e-commerce growth stories. How you've been? How's it going?
Very good, Valentin. Good morning and good evening to everybody. You know, we have the #1 bestseller on Amazon in the social media category for books.
That's fantastic.
TikTok ads. And you guys that are listening to our e-commerce growth stories are getting a special sneak peek before everyone else gets it on all the best techniques.
Sounds fantastic. Nice setup, by the way. Love it. No travel this today, right?
We're good today.
Yeah. All right. So let's get it started. In this episode, we're gonna play a bit to decipher the consumer psychology, and we're gonna do a role play. So Dennis, tell us about what you've bought. So how it's going to work first. We're gonna analyze the purchase decision that Dennis made towards a brand, and then we're gonna realize how the decision process went and what the brand should have made, knowing that in the first place. So Dennis, tell us about something that you've bought recently online.
I'll give you a choice. Do you want to hear about Burt's Bees lip balm, or do you want to hear about the Earwax Remover?
Let's go with the Earwax Remover.
Okay. So last week, you ever get where like your ears get clogged up and you don't want to stick the cotton swab or the swabs in there because it'll like make it worse? So I don't get all disgusting. So I did some research on Amazon. And you know, when you go to Amazon, you see like thousands of different possible items, so you could lose hours. But I picked a couple of these different products, and let me show you.
Yeah, let's see.
And I'll show you. There's different ways that people make decisions. You got to enable screen sharing here.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys see this?
Yeah.
So I buy a lot of things on Amazon, you can see, right?
Yeah.
And I want to show you how I make decisions. Oh, it's not showing up here. You know what? I'll just go to Amazon directly. I spend a lot of money on Amazon. Buy lots of different gifts. So let's see, we go to the account, look at the orders. You can see, you know, they're making all these kinds of recommendations. All right, this one. So the funny thing is that if you're looking here for so what I did was I searched for earwax removal. Amazon's got all of these other related sorts of keywords, right? Because if you're removing earwax, there's the thing that you can squeeze to put the liquid in or whatever it is. You can actually buy those different liquids. There's these machines that you can use that actually squirt it. And it can be very confusing because you see, of course, there's ads. Most people don't know that these are ads here, right?
Yep.
We run a lot of Amazon ads. And then there's these bestsellers, which are by category. So this is the bestseller in this category. Lots of reviews. Look at this, 4.8 when I see the stars all the way over. But then for example, I just like to buy whatever the first one is. So I clicked on this and I thought, wow, this is really cool because it has, I think it shows I bought a related item. It flushes the water in and it has a little camera. Have you seen this? It has a camera at the end.
Fantastic. Never seen that.
I actually have the app right here where I can even show you if I want. I have the thing downstairs where you stick it in the ear and you can see the thing go around with the camera, right? It's like $20, right? $28.
All right. Dennis, I want to stop you just a bit so that we can get down the memory lane so that we can identify the timeline so that everyone is aware about the fact that it's not like today is the day that you're going to buy an earwax removal. It wasn't yesterday's or a week. So tell us first about when was the first time when you thought that you have problems hearing or with your ear. So if you can go back down the memory lane.
It was actually 3 years ago when I bought something called an elephant earwax removal. I don't know. Maybe I'm like a weird person where I have a lot of earwax.
Or maybe the others are not aware how damaging this is. Yeah.
Well, I also was doing a lot of swimming and I was doing a lot of these other cocoon baths. So I was getting water in my ear all the time.
Yeah.
So, you get build up and things like this.
So 3 years ago, you've bought first time a product, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Which was different than this one. So that means going back more than 3 years ago, and that's the hard part when you are doing customer research. When was the first time before buying that product when you thought that, hey, I need to do something about my ears?
It was probably 20 years ago when I had like an earplug. I went to the school nurse at the college and she had some device that was obviously medical grade. They could just go poo, 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 poo into your ear. And I thought that was such an incredible experience, but I didn't want to go to a doctor. So I thought, who else has something, maybe there's a home version of this. Yeah. And so I was delighted to see how many different items are on Amazon for things like you'd never realize, right? Often you have a need and you don't know what the products are. So you just go to Amazon, you think you're going to buy one thing and all of a sudden you find, wow, there's this whole app and there's this machinery that squirts the water in your ear. And I thought maybe they would just be like the thing that you just put the chemical in and your, earwax comes out, but now they've gotten very sophisticated. So basically what we're looking at here, it's a timeline of 20 years. You've bought 2 products or more products related to this issue? 2 products. Yeah, so 2 or 3 products, yeah.
All right. So basically 20 years ago was your first, let's say, insight towards the fact that you need to take care of your ears better. Yeah. And then you found out that it's like a do-it-yourself kind of thing, because basically you had the options of going to a doctor or you had the options of searching online to see alternatives. But if we're looking at here, the competitor of the category wasn't are the doctors, right? So basically we are looking at this, the decision-making tree here is like going to a doctor or finding a solution which is not including a doctor. But let's understand why you haven't chosen to go to see a doctor.
Well, I didn't think it was bad enough. If it was, I'm a guy, like I don't want to go to the hospital. So I'm one of those self-medicating. So what I did was I went to Reddit, right? Mm-hmm. And I tend to not trust the blogs. I definitely don't trust the ads because I find that the people on Reddit tend to be a little smarter and you can't sell on Reddit. I mean, I know you can run ads and things like this, but the people who try to run ads just get absolutely crushed. And you can see here, like this was 9 years ago. There's so many different articles with so many different comments. And what you'll see here is that like this guy, audio engineer, and he writes the whole thing about, okay, hot water from the shower. Then other people come in and say, well, actually, if you buy this one product, it works well. Other people like, don't do any of this. Your hearing's so important. You should always just go to the doctor because they know better. But then along the way, I see that it's here. It's funny. I'm talking about earwax removal and I'm hearing what these people are recommending. But I see that people are recommending different sorts of products and I'm learning so much. And so the way, and I think a lot of people in e-com don't realize this, there's so many places like this, like on Reddit, where there's more trust when you're seeing what other people are doing. And then when I hear about a particular product that looks trustworthy, then I go to Amazon and I look for it. And that's why Amazon has, I think they said 70% of people who go to Amazon.com, when they visit, they purchase something, which is the highest percent purchase visit anywhere, right?
Yeah. So if we look at the timeline, the first thought was, hey, I have problems with my ears 20 years ago. You got to the, it was at your university or you're a student? No.
Yep, student.
Yeah. So you were a student, you got to see the healthcare taker there. After that, you started to search for solutions, right? So this is the passive looking phase, right? So if we are applying the jobs to be done methodology, you have the first thought, where then you were passively looking for 17 years, for a solution. You would think that for such a low value product, it's like it would take you weeks to buy it. But if you think about it, the timeline and the struggling moment appeared afterwards, right? So you were passively looking, you understood that you have the alternative to go to the doctor or to buy a product or to do it yourself. After understanding how to do it yourself, you trained yourself and you educated yourself on the topic. And that means you were Googling, you were using Reddit, and then you were using Amazon. And when you've decided to actively looking was 3 years ago. Tell us about the first purchase. You've bought it from Amazon as well, or from another?
From Amazon. And I've become so lazy because they have everything on Prime. They have my information. I like the reviews. I don't even care about the price. I just like all the information that once I've done my research, I just go to Amazon and whatever seems reasonable, I just go ahead and purchase. Perfect. So I'm ready to buy when I go to Amazon, right?
So let's consider a bit the purchase that you've made 3 years ago from Amazon as well. What went wrong with that product? Because it's clear that you've bought from another brand, right?
Well, that was at my other house. So I guess I could have gone back. I have a second house in Phoenix and the video studio is here in Las Vegas. So, I only go there every month or two. So I thought, whatever, I'll just go ahead and buy another one. So with the other house, I basically have two of everything, right? I have two of the video cameras. I have two, I have to maintain two houses, right? And so, and with some things that are expensive, maybe I'll bring it with me. But if it's like a $20 appliance, so I have multiple Keurig coffee machines. I have multiple TVs, or I have multiple of lots of things, right? But things, why not? If I have, toothpaste and I have an electric toothbrush, I could bring that with me, but I might as well just buy two, right?
Yeah. So Dennis, the question is, what do you remember what kind of brand you've bought? So, or it was a different vendor that you've
It was a different vendor, and it had the technology back when I bought it. They didn't have all these apps.
So
go ahead.
So you've compared the former technology, and basically you've updated yourself on the advancement toward in this domain, and you've said to yourself, what if it's so cheap, if I don't have to wait for, I don't know, 3 more weeks to go to the other house, and if the reviews are good, let's buy it. Was that the thinking process?
Here's the product I bought before. Actually, it was more than a few years. This was in 2015. So this was almost 7 years ago.
Almost 7 years ago.
Right. So I bought this particular product. So this was a spray bottle, and it contained the other things that you need to be able to then, put it in your ear. But they didn't have all the iPhone apps that included also the camera at the end of the little squirt thing, which is cool. But it's a different brand because the old brand didn't have an app with it.
So let's pretend we are High Tide Health, right? It's 2015.
Yeah.
We have a new customer. He's buying the Earwax Remover from us. unfortunately, we are on Amazon. We are selling through Amazon, and we don't have the direct contact with the customer. Can we now is the question, because I'm not that familiar with the Amazon's policy. Can we add within the package a feedback form,
Yeah.
like a printed feedback forms, something like, hey, we really care about your health, and we are doing this for years, and whatever, we want to make sure that you're getting the best product from us. Send us your feedback at whatever. Can we
Yeah.
do something about it?
Yeah.
Perfection. So
Probably a 30, 40%. I'm curious to see what you see of the products that I buy contain those cards, like a note from the founder, or it's even already printed on the bottle or printed on the package, where they say, if you have any issues, please contact us, because they want to build their list, or they don't want a negative review, especially with electronics. They don't want people returning it. So if people can't figure out, how to turn on the electronics, then, call the number or Twitter with them, and they'll fix it, right? To help you figure out. Usually it's user error, right?
Yeah. So what was your struggle when you've bought this? Have you had problems with your hearing, or it was a physical discomfort only? I mean,
well, I was swimming a lot. So I was swimming 3 or 4 times a week. So I would get water in my ears, right?
Yeah.
You ever have it where, you're in the pool and you have to shake your head like this to try to get the extra water out, right? So sometimes it was just, minor annoying to have that. And I thought, well, why not just, because maybe I'm just getting older. My hearing is not as good as it used to be. But I did some research, and I found that if you were to spray warm water, not cold water, because you'll pass out. If you spray cold water, I did all this research. If you do this, once every month or so, then your hearing will be so much better. You won't even realize that your hearing wasn't as good, because your ear just kind of adjusted. And I tried that the first time, and this plug of earwax fell out, like this yellow, like the end of a pencil, basically, like this big thing. And have you ever had that happen? And then your hearing is so much better. You're like, wow, I must have had it's like having, earplugs in the whole time. I didn't even realize I wasn't hearing. So that got me so excited that I would then do that every month or so.
Yeah. All right. So basically, as a brand, we know that we have customers which are having this kind of discomfort moments. Like you've said, based on the research, I would be able to get your ID, right? So I could transform an order from a stranger to a known customer if I would be using this feedback form, and if I would be so smart to do a package insert, like give us your email, send us, give us your feedback, and you will automatically get this brochure of how to swim, how to use headphones, how to whatever, how to improve your hearing and not have troubles for the next 10 years with your hearing, or next 20 years. So basically, I could have been doing that, and I could have been building my email list of customers. Then it looks like the purchase cycle, this is a pretty good product if you think about it, because it lasted for 7 years and you still use it, right? In the other home that you have. But they could be preventing you from switching to another provider by having your identity, and then helping you make progress with this kind of approach. Because at the end of the day, you don't care about the brand. You don't even know the brand, right? It was like, I already forgot it. It was health-wide something, yeah?
Yeah. And further, they didn't make any sort of attempt to build the CRM, because like the new product I bought, they had an app. So not only are you cleaning out your ear as it's squirting the warm liquid in, you can see the earwax, coming out, but it's part of an app. So when you install an app, of course, you're going to register. Now they have your information. Now they can thank you. So I think for any kind of product, figure out some way where the registration creates value for them. If the only value is, we'll give you a warranty, or maybe it's for food, we will give you a recipe or some other, find a way that you can have value that people really want to give you their email. Because most product registration warranties, what are they, like 1% or 2% of the people will fill it out? But here it was integral. They actually gave me an app, and the app was very useful because I could take pictures if I wanted to send to the doctor, I'm watching the video as I'm cleaning my ear. I can see my ears clean inside, you know?
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. But the technology 7 years ago, that company never innovated. So they never collected the information and they didn't have the value out of the app. And the funny thing is it's the same price. So I paid
Yeah.
$29 7 years ago, and I paid $29 a week ago. But I also got the app and it came with a camera too. So
Because
it's
that's,
huge value.
if you think about it, Dennis, it's a retailer, an e-commerce, a vendor has these moments which they have their company journey, but they are not aware about the customer journey, right? So these are many times they are not aware about this. So in order to leverage your existing orders, your existing customers, you have these phases. First, you need to transform your unknown strangers to known customers. Then you need to get those known customers to actually make use of the product. And you need to know if they are using it correctly and if they are happy about it, because without consumption or without usage of the product, there's no return. And there's no amplification, there's no network effect, right? After that, you have to get those customers from using the product to advocating about the product. So basically you need to get this, to close this feedback loop so that you can include the customer feedback and do these technological advancements, or in order to level up the customer experience that you're providing. Once you have the network effect, then you're done, right? So you need to make sure that the next buying cycle, at the next buying cycle, you're there. Exactly what something that this brand in particular never done.
Yeah. And that also will help you with PR. That builds your list. That creates word of mouth. Did you hear last week about this company called Insteon?
No, Insteon.
So you guys know there's things like Nest and these ones where it like regulates your home and the security, or right now I'm using the Philips Hue lights. So you can see here, this company Insteon helps you manage all your, security and lights and all the different appliances inside your house. And just one day with no warning, they turn everything off. So when you have, this is like the bad side. So they had a product, right? You could buy the product, but then it's not any use unless you have the app, right? The SaaS. So that's why a lot of people got mad at like Ring or Nest or these other kinds of things where you have to keep paying for the monthly service. And because it went down, and because they didn't have, the website shut down, the company scrubbed all their different profiles, they left all these guys hanging. So just this shows the other side. And of course, there's all the jokes about the lights are not on the Insteon, because no one can reach them. But I also got another thing that last week, Elon Musk owns lots of these different companies. So I actually got my Starlink. So they did a great job in terms of the communication. So look, I made a Starlink. Starlink is the basically global Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So look, I made my Starlink order here. Now it's setting the password. Here it is. Look how long ago this was. So over a year ago, I bought the Starlink because I thought, I'm traveling, maybe I'm in the desert hiking. I want to be able to have almost gigabit internet, right?
Yeah.
So I made my initial payment, and then they're sending me updates along the way on when they're going to send it to me. And it was just last week or a couple of weeks ago that they finally said, okay, here it is, you can order it. So I went ahead and paid for it. And I have this device back here. I'm using the regular Wi-Fi. I'm not using Starlink right now. And you can see, now they're charging me, this was yesterday. Now they're charging me $110 a month for Wi-Fi. Isn't that kind of neat?
Yeah,
it's
fantastic. It's and if you think about it, the touch points that they had with you were thoroughly crafted because they needed to keep your interest going, right? They needed to keep it warm for you to buy that product. So wrapping up here, Dennis, what I wanna, let's say, encapsulate for our viewers today is, as a brand, you have to know your customers, and you have to understand what is their timeline and what are their struggling moments so that you can help them make progress. If you don't have known customers and if what you're doing is just moving boxes from A to B, then you're going to be left behind, exactly like that company, High Wave, whatever. I forgot that,
Yeah.
that name already. So what were your insights and your last thoughts for today's session, Dennis?
Every step in the customer journey, we need to be able to find ways to add value and ideally collect information. So even if we're selling through a retailer, through Amazon, through Costco, or in the grocery store, where there's an intermediary, it's harder to be able to collect the information, but we can still do marketing. We can still be there in social media. We can still create value. This is one thing that I find surprising in seeing a lot of e-com folks. They don't realize that even if their product is amazing, that if they don't keep the communication going with the customers, then, and something else new comes up, then they're going to think that you are not relevant anymore because they have not heard from you.
Yeah.
So there always has to be a steady beat of news, of updates, of what you think about the war in Ukraine, about like whatever. There has to be there, because if there's silence, people, your consumers, your past customers will just assume that you are not around. And so when someone else comes in and has a different product, or they hear from a friend about something else, then it's easy for them to snatch that relationship. So you've already invested in getting that new customer. So you have to find ways to keep it going. So I think
Because
it's
the
a real
memory.
shame. Yeah, the company that sold me the initial product 7 years ago, after the purchase, I never heard from them at all. They had a great opportunity, because anyone who's buying this product, they're buying it because their ears are clogged up or they want to hear better. It's not an emergency, but it's something, important. What a great opportunity to build a relationship with. Like, imagine, you take it out of the box and they say, "Oh, welcome so much. Thank you for buying our product. We're glad that you got this. Here's a few things you need to know about how you use the product." That wasn't there. All I got was this little sheet of information that had a couple stick figure images that basically were disclaimer warnings on, don't put it too far in your ear, or like legal warnings so they don't want to be sued.
Yeah.
But that's different than the helpful information saying, "Hey, we built an app, or there's this website, here's some videos showing you, how to use it, and here's other things that you can do." They had none of that. So the funny thing is that they had a good product. This product was great.
But product is not enough anymore. Exactly.
But the information that I got off of Reddit, I got off of YouTube, I got off of the Amazon reviews. And that's actually where the marketing is. So it's funny how many e-com folks think it's only about the product, right? I was looking at my friend who runs paw.com. I think he's double-digit millions a year in sales. So it's pretty good. So luxury pet rugs, right? Not cheap $10, but pet rugs that are a couple $100, very nice. And he has these nice pictures of the rugs, but he until now, he hasn't been incorporating the whole experience and things that you do for people that really love their pets. Because someone who's going to spend $300 on a pet rug, they treat the pet like a member of the family, right? The pet is not someone who's just outside in the yard that sits in the dog house, something that's like a slave or something. The pet is like another child of yours. So because of that, their marketing has changed to show, here's the other things we do where we honor our pet, or here's other stories of where the pet has done something very heroic, right? And so even though their product has still been the same this whole time, they've had to adapt the education and the experience and all these other pieces. Otherwise, people are going to buy all these other pet products and they're going to forget about this very high quality pet rug that these guys sell.
Product is not enough, and you need to thoroughly craft the customer journey. And I think what the game, which is now being changed, is towards customer experience and adding more value so that customers are making progress. Exactly like you've said, Dennis. I think that's a wrap for today. Thanks a lot for your input again, and thanks everyone for being here with us. We're going to see each other in 2 weeks from now. If you have any questions for us, we're on LinkedIn, on Facebook, everywhere.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Yeah.